Jason Rzucidlo reporting from the 2010 AutoWeek Design Forum. Today we're going to be hearing remarks from Mr. Ralph Gilles, who is the president and CEO of the Dodge brand. Also stay tuned for the AutoWeek Editor's Choice Awards, right here on AmericaJR.com.
So why am I here at the AutoWeek Design Forum talking to you guys about video games? Well, believe it or not, design is the most important element in any video game. That's especially true with Forza Motorsport. Design in our game takes many forms and requires the collaboration of a wide variety of professionals, everybody from artists to sound designers to game designers, even software engineers. With Forza, we've crafted an interactive automotive experience that brings millions of people together all over the world around their common passion for cars. Video games like Forza create a unique opportunity for players to get together and interact with cars and interact with other car enthusiasts that's just not possible in reality or in traditional media. Our ultimate goal with Forza is to turn gamers into car lovers and car lovers into gamers. As I mentioned, design takes many forms in the game. I could honestly spend all day talking about all the different systems and experiences that we design in Forza, but today I'd really like to focus on two with you guys. First is how Forza celebrates great automotive design by meticulously recreating over 400 cars in the game to an incredible level of detail. Second, how we craft and engineer an ecosystem that supports social media and UGC, or user-generated content. Forza is all about cars. It's a temple to cars. And for players to feel immersed in our virtual world, it's critical that cars look real, they sound real, and they drive real. Coming from an art design background myself, I'll start with a subject that's kind of near and dear to my heart, and that's visuals. The cars in Forza, I'd like to walk you through kind of how we build cars for the game, and finally, we submit them to manufacturers so that they can take a look at them and sign off that they're perfect. And here's the end result. A beautiful car that players can drive, customize, and damage in the virtual world of Forza Motorsport. Some of the manufacturers are less thrilled with that component than others. Obviously, there's a lot of technology that goes into bringing a photoreal image like this to life, with rendering of lighting and flesh and shadows. A ton of technology into this, but this is a design forum, so I'll save that for another day. The next part is getting the cars to sound real. Just like with visuals, great car audio starts with great reference. So we record cars on a dyno. Those of you not familiar, it's a dynamometer. Typically they're used to measure horsepower in a car. We use them actually to capture recordings of a car under real driving conditions, but in a controlled environment, like in a garage, where we can mic a car up, independent of road and wind noise and other distractions, so that we get very clean recordings of the car. But the critical part is that it's under load, so the car sounds strained under positive and negative load. It allows us to capture that unique character of a throaty V8 from a classic muscle car, all the way up to a high-pitched wail of an Italian V12. By putting the car under load in real driving conditions, you get it running through all the gears, and it sounds like the car is being strained, as it does typically when you're driving it in a video game. People tend to drive it wide open all the time. We also record tire skid sounds, as you can see the picture of the Subaru there. Game development has its fun times as well. We get to go out and mic up cars and skid them around. Tire sounds are actually really critical, not only just to sound real, but also to help players play the game. It's that feedback that they use. Since you're not out there, you don't get the seat of the pants feedback that you get from driving a real car. A lot of it comes from the visuals and the sound of the game. So to know what the car is doing, you listen to the tires, and we record a lot of different sounds to know when you're impending lockup, when you've broken traction under cornering loads, braking, acceleration, those things. So you get all this feedback to kind of give you an indication of what the car is doing. We also record upgrades for the cars that include forced induction systems. Like here, strapping superchargers to a bench dyno so we can isolate that sound, incorporate it into the engine sounds when you upgrade your car in the game, including open race pipes, so that when you upgrade your car, it sounds as you would imagine it would.
Keynote speaker, my ass. I'm just a car guy. I feel really fortunate to be here. I think Dave is the keynote speaker today. I really liked his speech about the future of the automobile. It was outstanding. However, I wanted to slit my wrist. It's funny, I was listening to all the presenters, and we never talked actually, so I was presenting, working on my presentation the last couple of weeks, and obviously we're going through a lot of crises, no secrets, tough times. I've been sitting through I did probably no less than 300 interviews in the last 3 days, and every question was, how are you guys going to make it? How are you going to bridge between now and then? What's going on? Blah, blah, blah. What happened to the great Chrysler? Are you hollowed out? I mean, you name it, right? And it makes you introspective whether you like it or not. Now, granted, I've been introspective for two and a half years, ever since Cerberus. Hitting my head against the wall, staring at my shoes, like, what the hell's going on? But as a designer, you're privy to the future. You work on the future, you deal in the future, you dream of the future, so it really keeps you a perpetual optimist, whether you like it or not. And you're surrounded by people that are great, they're fun, they love it, so it kind of keeps you going. That's the only reason we're still here. My staff is here, most of my direct reports are still here. And we're like a band of brothers, we keep each other from losing our minds. But just want to, I may down you a little bit in my presentation because it does stumble a little bit on what Dave said, and it touches a little bit of what everybody said here. You can't help but walk through the auto show this week and not feel that the industry is a bit stuck. You know what I mean? The folk, I teach design, and myself, I catch myself editing design at work, seeing solutions I've seen before, starting to get that sinking feeling inside, like, wait a minute, are we out of tricks? You know what I mean? And I don't believe we are. I think every day there's a new student is born, a new student graduates, there's another Steve Jobs ready to take over any minute now. It's ever present. Creativity, it's a human nature, it will find a way. So I'm not too overly concerned, but I definitely am getting that feeling that it's about time for something amazing to happen. Now granted, there's a lot of social pressure right now. There's legislation pressure coming, mostly in 2020 is when you're going to see that inflection point that's going to truly trip up the auto industry and basically transportation in general. So right now I think there is we're in this window of time now where we're seeing probably, in my opinion, the last generation of a genre of automobile. And there's nothing wrong with enjoying that. I think, that a lot of us, I still collect those little model cars. I have some model cars I've had since I was 10. By the way, I just turned 40 today, so thank you. Everything worked this morning, so it's not as bad as it sounds. So I expect some gratuitous laughter today, if you don't mind, as a gift. But, there's still some gas left, so to speak, in the modern automobile. There's still some great things going on. There's still some last little bit of perfection yet to happen. So the motto of what my speech is, we are going through hell. We just went through hell. '09 was hell. I was probably the drunkest person at New Year's Eve because of this. But we must keep going, said Winston Churchill. So that's kind of the motto of my speech here. So I had to weave this in. We've had, I live in northern, I don't know if you guys even know where this is, Leonard, Michigan. It's the only place that lets you put a go-kart track in your backyard. I still have it, by the way. I went from gas carts to electric carts, and it solved the problem. So I'm really ahead of the time. I have electric car play carts. But I look at our industry, and I look at what's happening to the automobile, and it's being refined to the point of being almost the perfect animal, right? It's the perfect of its kind, and I look around, and it's already there. You see it in a few Audis, you see it here and there. It's like, what more can they possibly do? And we have a cougar scare. There's actually been cougars sighted up in Leonard. And I'm thinking, and I did some research on the cougar, I'm like, wow, it's a hell of a, it has no predators. None. I mean, the bear, it can take a bear down, it can take just about, we're the only real predator there. And it's a beautiful animal, it's well engineered. I look at it, I'm saying, wow, that's pretty cool. And Casey and I were talking about, he has some property up there, we should maybe try to hunt these things or something. And I warned him about, mountain biking, you better wear, like a mask. Mountain bikers actually wear masks to scare off cougars in California, because they attack from behind. And I'm thinking to myself, when you turn 40, you're pretty happy to have any cougar chasing you, so.